The general has gone down to the police station again, using his position to get his son with a lot of drug problems out of trouble again. And the police chief says, I can't keep doing this. This is the last time. I'm having folks ask me, because your military base is so close to town, what you know about America's Hijacked Lifelines. And I can't keep doing this with Weir and Waday, all those folks with all kinds of cameras around. And the general says thanks, and before he gets out of the police station, somebody has asked about Melton. Not one Flight 93 taking over a decade of asking what the general's active part is in that. And yes, placing cowardly Husseins and incompetent Trumps in our White House. A commandant, someone in the military who teaches, admirals and generals and other officers, their kind of stuff. He has walked up to a general, and yeah, it's not one he trained, but he asked him all those questions about preparedness and America's hijacked lifelines, how lifelines are an active part in any countries, much less the most powerful country in the world. Lifelines, and is that general, he just blows his top. He's angry as hell. He's yelling and screaming at that commandant, whatever they call him. I don't know. And he gets on video and he says, were you this angry? This angry and uninformed when we got attacked by a whole lot of cowardly Husseins with 9/11. And yeah, he goes back to the class weight, and he says that's how you weed out those who never should have been there to begin with. So Harry has a big five on his desk, and whenever somebody asks, he says, here, reaches into the drawer, gets a couple of paper clips and some tape. You got tabletop art, desktop art. He reaches into the desk and gives them a 5. Laminate to last longer. And tells them, you make a video of America's Hijacked Lifelines. You call up every reporter and network news anchor there is. You try to call Melton in front of them. And yes, Father Harry prints out some new 5s quite often to protect that flock of his. You should too. See a vapor trail. Be on the side. Those driving the tanks, the jeeps, the jets, beside the children and truth, make that video of your hijack call to me. I'm Melton. Been asking for a Flight 93 check for over a decade. Have yet to get one. Make that video. Time on your phone, number dialed, date in your video. Be on the side of those driving the tanks, the jeeps, the jets, beside the children and truth. And yeah, print out these things. I got a few others. All soldiers in Old English there. All clergy. All Americans, of course. Print them out. Hold them up at Newsom, Governor Newsom of California, Garcetti, and Trump photo ops. Recall because we can't call.
Mental note kind of video. I just got a Gmail email from Walmart about the phone I purchased for audio making, saying it had been returned. I made the screenshots of it, and it's bizarre as anything, and it goes hand in hand with the chemical warfare being waged in the Eagle Rock against me. Those Iranians of Solari Enterprises and a distinct military grade kind of stuff. So ask those generals you know are a part of America's hijacked lifelines while they're conducting military grade warfare on American soil. Post as you try to call me and your family's lifelines being hijacked. Get them angry. Ask them, were you this uninformed when they attacked us with those cowardly Husseins? 9/11 and was placing that cowardly Hussein in the White House. Were you that Were you that disinformed? I'm a handsome ball guy. I had trouble doing two things at once. Good news is Gold's here to help me, but I still want to know why generals are being obvious as shit and crazy as shit with their Chinese handlers. Make that video. My fun fiction always ends with your time, date, my number dialed. Call me up in front of the generals, get them yelling and screaming and ask them, were you this disinformed, general? What else are you disinformed about? Post. Admirals in particular, I've seen the Navy with the trader bonds. Those admirals connected to that.
So a computer entrepreneur has called maybe a federal folk kind of thing, or a general military, and he shows them some eye in the sky footage he got. And yes, it's a cowardly Hussein, drunk as hell, stumbling out to a limo, and before he even gets to the limo, he gets out of the limo, but yeah, both are kind of drunk, but walks back in to that mansion. Yes, the Admiral says, well, we gotta cover that up. Doesn't look good, especially after we faked his dad's death. Remember, it's just fraud, and only one of them has that immunity kind of stuff. Get it on video.
So the general, you'll have to excuse it, will not stick at a single focal point. Means I'm getting a lot of video from yesterday's, a lot of folks watching my videos from yesterday. It's bizarre as hell. But anyway, and yet my screen turned to like a 1-inch screen. I think it's done that before, but there's no way to change it. It's distraction. Let me get to the parable real quick. The general's in the Oval Office. He's spinning around on the desk, the desk chair, and he's trying to get the feel for it because Randall Stevenson, with his bloody hands of AT&T's Phonegate, promised to make him a presidente of the Americas, if he supported him. And the Admiral walks in and he says, where is Trump? And he says, oh, he's in the Lincoln bedroom with his buddies, the Mormon cult. Jim J, Charlie M, missionaries. Here is Siren 911, Flight 93, check and post in 5. Not one Flight 93 check call in over a decade of asking. Now for the fun. Handsome bald guy in his sharp wheelchair. Parable about the general, maybe an admiral, walks into the Oval Office and he says there's a problem I need to address on the West Coast, and Trump doesn't even look up. He is doing some paperwork and he says, nope, General, I'm not going to let you take out 1 in 30 Americans, yes, LA County, because you don't like Milton's truth about America's hijacked lifelines. Just do what I do. Have the colonels screen your calls. Don't go out of the White House or, the base.
The general is visiting his family off base and it's Sunday, and a man walks up to him and he starts asking about America's hijacked lifelines, about dangerous folks with angry Muslims, Laurie Enterprises, taking an active part in America's hijacked lifelines, as well as AT&T buying spectrum next door to harass a Christian in a wheelchair. They ask him all about that, and he just flies into a rage, yelling and screaming at the guy. Everybody in the church parking lot is looking at him, and as he makes that video, the man asks the general, "Were you this angry, this incompetent, when we got attacked by all those angry Muslims, cowardly Husseins with 9/11? So the general has been called into technical part of the base, and he says, "Who's that?" And he says, "It's Admiral so-and-so." Yes, AT&T has taken to listening in on conversations. Well, they've always been into that, but they're the Admiral should know better, and his secrets are being pointed out that compromise the security of America, just like me not getting a Flight 93 taken over a decade, and a whole lot of devil's folks in the military being treasonous about that. You did it on video as you asked that general, "Why can't I reach this man?"
A Trump is talking to Susan Wojcicki and her billionaire Russian husband himself. He says, "Susan, you gotta give up the phone. You're gonna have your staff make that call for you," and he calls. The general himself told me that you're talking about all kinds of stuff you can't be talking about when everybody with those high-tech toys can be listening in, as that phone's not even on. And she says, "Who was it? What general? Schwarzkopf, Bradley?" Reels off a few more. And he said, "No, the Russian general." And she hands her husband the phone. He's having a photo op. And he is asked about his dangerous part in America's hijacked lifelines. And it gets under his skin a little bit, and he just loses it. He starts screaming. And at that point, one of the photo op reporters asked the general, "Were you this uninformed when we got attacked by all those cowardly Husseins? When 9/11 then got attacked again with that dangerous cowardly Hussein they placed in our White House? And when else will our phones not be allowed to work, General? And is Trump also praying to that 9/11 Muslim devil down below?" And yeah, he says, "Well, I don't know about that. Yes, actually I do. I know not to knock when he's entertaining the Mormon cult at the White House." So the general is having a photo op, sure the hell isn't looking after America's hijacked lifelines. Not one Flight 93 check call, 424-229-4140, and over a decade of asking. And with the generals, it's not recall because we can't call like Trump, Garcetti, and Newsom. It's try for treason because we can't call. And they are an active part in the exact opposite of what they're doing. And one of the reporters asked, what do you know about Donald Trump and the Mormon cult of Utah with their dangerous ties to the Muslim cults in the Mideast? And the general says, well, I know when they're at the White House you knock before you go in that Oval Office. I do know that. Yes, they got that reputation as that. Rolling out Milton's imagery, Milton skyline imagery to be specific. Check it out. Oh, you can find it through Vote Truth there, as well as Daffodilia, the Wix site, and www.daffodilia.blogspot.com. Follow the links, you'll find 30,000 graphic art photos. You're going to find something you like. And all of that, print me out, laminate, last longer, and remember to check and post and find, make a video of our hijacked lifelines and the dangerous folks, Mormon cult in particular, in Utah with the dangerous Muslim cult brothers from abroad. Get them on video, hijacking your lifeline, and get that chant going at all political rallies. Recall because we can't call. Of course, it's more for the incumbents, but recall because we can't call. Yeah, stretch it a little bit this way. Let's see how that looks. I don't know what I got on a whole lot of folders, I believe. Hello. Where does it say? Save as post. There we go, right there. Over there, fast stone program. Then you got to turn it off. Yeah, I'm working on Trump's Phonegate here. Hussein's in Trump's Phonegate. A whole lot of other stuff on my desktop. I'll try and get it tomorrow when I can just get started. But yeah, all fives. All Americans, all clergy. Someone asked about your desktop image. Yeah. Give them a nice 4x6 photo. Oh, that's the first one I just picked out. Like this, except the a big 5 telling America how to check and post in 5. Do that. 424-229-4140, certified email, not one Flight 93 check call or mail in over a decade of asking. Get that on video. Show the reporters and the senators how to do their jobs.